Tonight, a growing crisis.
We thought there was a lot more operational flexibility within the system.
A call for an investigation into where things went wrong.
It snuck up on us. Well, what does that mean? Why weren't we alerted earlier?
As Waterloo Region faces a water capacity crunch. Groundbreaking technology helping a Fergus girl with hearing loss.
It was really bad and very quiet.
The first North American recipient of a cochlear implant with smart features.
If somebody dreams up some incredible algorithm for helping the hearing be better, you're going to be able to take advantage of it.
And saying goodbye to a Cambridge cafe.
I'll miss the bagels.
The last day for a long-standing business.
You know, you feel really happy, but you feel sad as well.
That's made its mark.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a quest for answers. A longtime politician in the region of Waterloo says it's time we find out exactly how the region's water capacity crisis unfolded. Former Cambridge Mayor, now Regional Councillor Doug Craig says he is putting forward a motion to request an official investigation. CTV's Jeff Pickle joins us with more on this. Jeff, you spoke with Doug Craig today. What is he looking to find out?
Well, Krista, from the report that went to council, it appears the warning signs of an impending crisis were there long before the region reported on this issue near the end of last year. So far, most of the focus has been on finding a way to act fast moving forward. Regional Councillor Doug Craig says it's also critical to look back and find out how they missed it. The update from the most recent Regional Council meeting is bleak.
We've been taking more water out of the ground than what is sustainable. So we've been in a state of peaking or overpumping for 3 years. And that's a state that you don't want to be in for an extended period of time.
The region has been maxing out the amount of water we can pump for years and overdrawing from important wells.
Then you can see from 2022 to 2025 where we had the steeper increase in pumping, we see a steeper decrease in groundwater elevations in the aquifer.
Regional Councillor Doug Craig asking why it took so long to see what was coming.
So my question is, why wasn't council informed about this depreciating situation at an earlier date as opposed to just a few months ago?
Staff says it takes time to collect and analyze the data, and at the time they thought they would be able to pump more water from Cambridge, which they now know they cannot.
So I think our understanding of the system back then, we thought there was a lot more operational flexibility within the system, that we thought there was more room within the system.
Craig says it's time to get to the bottom of how this happened.
Well, I think the point being, it snuck up on us. Well, what does that mean? Why weren't we alerted earlier, I think, is the main issue.
At a council meeting on March 10th, Craig says he will ask council to endorse a complete third-party investigation into the issue.
I think we need that to build confidence into the community about what is happening and how we're going forward. I think that's vital. I would like them to look back approximately 5 years to when I believe that some of these warning signs were there. And then I would like to get a report on this.
According to Craig, they owe it to the public to provide some answers.
I keep coming back to it as recommendations to make sure this doesn't happen again. And that in itself will build public confidence into the water capacity issue we have. And you saw a few small segments from the Regional Council meeting on Wednesday. We have posted a 15-minute segment of that meeting on our website where regional staff go in depth and provide a really clear description of the issue and why operating as we currently are is not an option. Krista?
CTV's Jeff Pickle reporting for us live tonight. Thanks, Jeff. Time for a check on the weather, and for that we are heading to the Odd, where we find Karis Mapp, who is there ahead of a Kitchener Rangers game. And Karis, not only is there hockey tonight, but there's also a way fans can win big over the next few weeks.
That's absolutely right, Krista. So today, actually 2 days ago on Wednesday, the Kitchener Rangers organization, the charity part of it, Rangers Reach launched their 4th spring annual 50-50 mega jackpot. And so actually last year, the big winner took home over $58,000. You know, the Rangers always trying to get bigger and better. This year, they're saying that the minimum jackpot someone will win is $50,000. The goal overall is to get that jackpot up to $100,000, which is really some life-changing money. So, and if that were the case, if they are able to amass that jackpot, it will be an Ontario Hockey League record. So they're really trying to get there. We're going to learn a little bit more about some of the prizes that people can win, not just the jackpot. There are a lot of prizes in the way. I'll be talking to the executive director of Rangers Reach later on. But of course, fans are starting to file in, buy their 50-50, and they're focusing on the Kitchener Rangers game today. Great season for them so far. Right now, they currently sit first in the Western Conference, only second overall to the Brantford Bulldogs. Tonight, they're taking on the Brampton Steelheads, so every game matters at this point. So, yes, people are moving in. You can see the fans coming. It's getting loud. And on their way in, thankfully, they were able to have some nice weather for their drive. When I got here an hour ago, it was really sunny outside. Let's take a look at our satellite radar right now. And as you can see, very similar situation. Cloud coverage just moving through the region. 3, 4, 5 o'clock. It's just been beautiful all day. And that's pretty much going to be the situation for the rest of the night. There will be some precipitation later on, and we'll get to that. Looking at the temperature right now, still holding that 5 degree, that high that we had today. Beautiful, a southerly 19-kilometer-per-hour wind. So it was nice, calm. And let's take a look at some of the temperatures, not just in Waterloo Region, but across southern Ontario as a whole. Windsor topping the board right now with 12 degrees. As I said, Waterloo sitting around 5, which is lovely, above seasonal for this time of year. Toronto a little bit warmer with 7 degrees. The more north you get, a little bit cooler, but I'm sure they're not complaining. 4 in Wyerton, 4 in Mount Forest, 4 in Barrie. Beautiful, beautiful temperatures. So, Krista, the vibes are high here. People are so happy. I feel like good weather just makes everybody a bit of better mood. And now they have that opportunity to win a big jackpot. There will be draws even tonight. So when fans come in, if they get their tickets, there are 2 opportunities at both 7 and 9 to win a jackpot prize, not the jackpot rather, just a prize. As I mentioned, we're going to hear a little bit more about that later in the show.
Thanks, Karis. Hockey, good weather. How can you not be in a good mood? Well, it's been 1 year since Ontarians went to the polls and re-elected a PC government. CTV's Siobhan Morris looks at how the government is living up to its election ideals and where voters stand today.
365 days ago, Ontario voters elected Doug Ford's Progressive Conservatives to a 3rd consecutive majority. Almost 8 years since taking the reins of the province.
I want to be premier forever. I'm just pumped up. We're getting things done.
Ford framed last year's election around protecting Ontario from Donald Trump, collaborating with premiers of different political stripes.
If it's good for Ontario, we're going to work well together. If you attack Ontario, it's not going to be a good day for you, because I got to protect the people.
A promise that rings hollow for critics. The Premier preoccupied with new possibilities of growing Toronto's Island Airport and overhauling its convention centre.
Another world-class announcement is coming.
Enough stunts, enough attempts to distract. Just fix the mess that's right in front of your own face.
Imploring the government to refocus on healthcare, education, and keeping life affordable.
I'm tired of the spectacle. I'm tired of the hype. And I think a lot of Ontarians are. They just give me the thing that I need.
New polling from Liaison Strategies shows cracks in Ford's party support.
Back in October, they were at 47%. Now they're down to 40%. So we're seeing a bit of a slow slide for the PC party.
Progressive Conservatives still lead the Liberals and NDP, but voters aren't happy with what they're seeing.
The environment, education, crime, healthcare, cost of living, you name it, more Ontarians disapprove than approve on every single issue.
The opposition NDP has been languishing in 3rd.
I believe that right now our values are more aligned than ever with where most people are at in their lives.
Ontario New Democrats are feeling some drag from their federal cousins, while the Liberals may be getting a boost from the popularity of Prime Minister Mark Carney.
We have more ice time, we have more money, and pound for pound, we have the smartest, most talented caucus.
This time next year, the Liberals will have a new leader, their 3rd in 6 years. That vote is in November. The next province-wide election has to be before April 2030. Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Public libraries have evolved over time, becoming more like community centers than just places to borrow books. But in some Canadian cities, inviting the community in opened the door to something deadly. CTV's Adrian Gobriel explains.
Hamilton, Ontario's Central Library is a modern 6-story complex, a multi-use public space that prides itself on being inclusive. Though delivering on its mission statement is becoming increasingly more difficult.
Ultimately, it's been the drug consumption has been really problematic and really disrupting our ability to be a public library.
Since December, paramedics have been called to Hamilton Central Library 105 times. Security have administered life-saving naloxone on 44 occasions. In the first 5 weeks of this year, there's been a total of 771 incidents involving security.
People consuming drugs in the washrooms, sometimes consuming drugs within the library itself.
The CEO of Hamilton's Public Library had suggested a temporary closure to allow for a reset. A board of directors rejected the idea. In March of last year, 2 libraries in Saskatoon were closed temporarily due to growing safety and overdose concerns.
Library workers aren't first responders. They shouldn't have to deal with medical emergencies.
In May, a library in Thunder Bay had to shut its doors after a staff member was assaulted. Back in Hamilton, there's no clear consensus.
Do you believe that this library should close as they work to get a handle on the issues that are taking place here?
I don't know. It's a hard question. We're hoping to find a solution that keeps the library accessible, that keeps it inclusive.
Last year, the Ontario government closed 10 safe injection sites, including in Hamilton, opening treatment facilities in their place.
I would hope that they can see the impact that their policy decisions have made.
An email from Ontario's Minister of Health's office says, in part, that instead of giving people tools to use illegal drugs, our government is making record investments to help break the tragic cycle of drug addiction. Though for now, librarians thrust onto the front lines say the cycle continues to spin out of control.
With fewer supervised consumption sites, the concern among those we spoke with is that the crisis taking place here and at libraries across the country will only continue to grow without adequate support. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, Hamilton, Ontario.
Next, we turn to a story of many firsts. A young Fergus girl has become the first person in North America to receive a new smart hearing device. The cochlear implant is also said to be the first of its kind due to special technology. CTV's Spencer Turcott has been looking into this for us and joins us live. So Spencer, what makes this device so unique?
Well, there's a couple things at play here. One being that it has internal memory to store individual hearing settings. And Krista, get this, it also has the ability to receive updates similar to a smartphone.
A simple sound means the world to 10-year-old Anabia Bilal. She knows all too well what a world with little to no sound is like.
Before it was like really bad and very quiet.
The young girl from Fergus was born with hearing loss and has used hearing aids since she was a baby. They helped for a while until they didn't.
And my hearing deteriorated like in 2024.
Then late last summer, a beacon of hope from Toronto's Sick Kids Hospital. Dr. Sharon Cushing believed Anabia would be a prime candidate for a new type of cochlear implant called Nexa, created by an Australian-based company.
Unlike many of the babies we implant, she's able to tell you what it's like.
So in August, Anabia became the first person in North America to get the smart hearing device, which was surgically implanted.
They had to like cut open the back of my ear, then put them, then implant a magnet inside.
The technology itself, approved by Health Canada last year, includes a chip that can remotely provide the implant with updates, which was never possible before.
If somebody dreams up some incredible algorithm for helping the hearing be better, you're going to be able to take advantage of it because we can now put that on the chip.
Weeks of complete silence followed the surgery so Anabia could heal. Then her world turned back on. She could finally hear all the normal sounds.
Clock ticking, the light switches, the wind, the AC turning on.
She visits sick kids regularly for ongoing tests and adjustments.
What do I think of the implant?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
The successful surgery laid the groundwork for others to get the cochlear implants too.
So we have done, including the ones earlier this morning, 57.
As for Anabia, her confidence keeps growing. And these days, she has no trouble speaking up when things get too loud.
If my mom's talking loud, I can hear it. And my mom talks very loud when she's calling somebody.
And Anabia will head back to Sick Kids for another checkup in May. In the meantime, she continues to work on her speech with a therapist and is improving every day. Krista.
A very cool story. Thanks, Spencer. Still ahead, a call to screen young children for high cholesterol. New recommendations from the Canadian Pediatric Society aimed at catching genetic conditions early.
Well, things are starting to heat up here at the Odd in Kitchener ahead of the Rangers game, but nothing compared to those warm temperatures we felt earlier today. Unfortunately, that's not going to be sticking around, but I'll let you know what to expect for the weekend coming up later in the show.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
A beloved coffee shop in the heart of Galt served its final customers today. After more than 23 years, Grand Cafe is closing its doors after the owners announced they were retiring. And as CTV's Alexandra Hollick shows us, the shop is leaving a lasting legacy and a bittersweet goodbye.
A community cornerstone in downtown Cambridge is now closed. Customers flocking to Grand Cafe Friday for a final beverage, baked good, and goodbye.
Didn't know if I'd get back here one more time before the last day, but I'm glad I did. I get to enjoy one last cream cheese bagel from them.
The coffee shop was opened back in 2003 by Michelle George and her husband Michael.
We moved here from Toronto then, and we were really missing a coffee shop, and there wasn't anything downtown where you could get specialty coffee. We missed it so much that when we saw a for rent sign in this location, we thought, you know what? Let's do it.
It began as a takeout spot, but soon grew to include sit-down dining. Over the years, the cafe saw everything from major construction projects to major productions.
We've had a lot of different film crews in the area over the years, and of course The Handmaid's Tale was definitely one of the bigger productions.
Along with some famous faces.
We've also had Richard Gere here.
And while not every customer has been a celebrity, many are celebrating the memories made.
This has been my happy coffee place for 23 plus years.
They were always wonderful to us. We really enjoyed the experience.
Especially sharing coffee and treats. I've especially loved the brownies, and unfortunately, they're all gone today.
George says the decision to retire wasn't easy, especially with so much history and close connections brewed into the business.
It's not just a cup of coffee. It's relationships that you build.
A tearful farewell paired with a heartfelt message of gratitude.
Thank you to everyone who's supported us over the years. You'll forever be a part of the Grand Cafe memories. Thank you.
As for what's next, many customers I spoke with say they hope this corner continues to be a community hub for the next generation. As for the owners, well, they're going to be taking a well-deserved break to travel and spend time with loved ones. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Cambridge.
A $250 million loan guarantee from the Ontario government will allow an Indigenous group to partner with the world's largest nuclear plant to try and rid the world of cancer. CTV's Scott Miller has more on the historic agreement.
Bruce Power, the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, and now the Ontario government are joining forces to fight cancer with nuclear energy.
If we believe the researchers we are working with, 80% of the cancers we have to deal with right now, either you won't have it because of the vaccine, or we will be able to cure them in less than 1 week thanks to the treatments that are being developed right here.
Since 2019, the Saugeen and Ojibwe Nation and Bruce Power have partnered on a revenue-sharing agreement around medical isotope production. One isotope that sterilizes medical equipment, another that's used to treat cancer. A plan to more than double that production at the Bruce meant Sohn needed capital. In stepped the provincial government with $250 million from the Indigenous Opportunities Financing Program to guarantee the debt Sohn took on to fund their partnership stake in the expanded isotope project.
I think it's very important because it will generate revenue for communities and an expansion and an announcement that aligns with our vision and our values.
A separate revenue-sharing agreement providing $10 million per year in direct community payments from Bruce Power to Sohn, along with the medical isotope partnership, will be worth $64 million to both the Saugeen First Nation and Chippewas of Nawash Unceded First Nation by 2035, with escalating dividends moving forward.
We've had, long-standing concerns of being excluded from the benefits that, the area is receiving. And others are receiving, and we're working our way toward good relations.
The loan guarantee is the largest Ontario has given to any Indigenous group since creating the Indigenous Opportunities Financing Program in 2009.
$250 million, the largest that I'm aware of, certainly in Ontario history and perhaps in Canadian history.
Currently, Bruce Power makes 80% of the medical isotopes that sterilize medical equipment around the globe. But the kind of isotope they'll be ramping up production of with this new partnership will be focusing on targeted cancer treatment. It's called lutetium-177, which will now also be processed at Bruce Power instead of being shipped out to Germany for processing.
Roughly 200 to 300 net new jobs will be created direct, indirect through this investment as we double down on Canada's nuclear advantage. It saves lives, it keeps the lights on, 24/7 power. We are talking $250 million, but at the same time, the revenue, the dividend of this investment is going to change, have a real beneficial impact in the communities, in the two communities.
Near Kincardine, Scott Miller, CTV News.
The Canadian Pediatric Society is now recommending cholesterol screening for all kids between the ages of 2 and 10 years old. CTV's Rachel Aiello spoke with the lead author of the report behind this new guidance, as well as a family that experienced firsthand the value of early screening.
What do you do? After Edmonton father Mike Heathcote was diagnosed with a common genetic disorder that can cause lifelong high cholesterol, his family decided to have their kids Haley and Ryan tested.
Finding out the kids had it was a bit bittersweet. On the one hand, no one likes to know that their kid has these sorts of health problems, but on the other hand, early intervention prevents them from going down the same path that I did.
Today, the Canadian Pediatric Society released new guidance recommending cholesterol screening for all children between the ages of 2 and 10. Guidance Mike was thrilled to hear.
It's a simple blood test, and even if the result is negative, at least you know. There's a lot more people that are affected and a lot of people that can be carriers of the gene and not even realize it.
The lead cardiologist behind the new guidance, who specializes in prevention, says plaque buildup in arteries starts in childhood and can be a key driver of heart disease and stroke.
Universal screening would permit us to find cholesterol disorders, especially genetic cholesterol disorders, and act on them in a timely and effective manner.
Doctors say high cholesterol is relatively easy to treat with lifestyle changes and, in some cases, medication. But the challenging part is finding it.
Sadly, it's a silent disease until a first event happens, and then all too often, unfortunately, it's diagnosed after a cardiac event or after a stroke.
The American Academy of Pediatrics also recommends cholesterol testing in children, but Canadian pediatricians hadn't had clear guidance until now. Dr. Corey said he hopes more widespread testing will improve the age of detection and patient outcomes in this country. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Well, here's a look from our tower camera this evening, pointing towards Waterloo. The sun is setting, but it was out in full force earlier today, along with above-zero temperatures, and we are still sitting above zero now. But a cool down is coming, and more snow is in the forecast. We'll check in with Karis after the break. She is at the Odd, and we'll have all the details on our forecast. The Prime Minister is in India, there to talk trade, but surrounded by questions and mixed messages about foreign interference. CTV's Abigail Beeman will have more from Mumbai. And the bandshell in Waterloo Park has come down. What the city says is behind the decision to demolish it. Stay with us. Well, it is time for a check on the full forecast, and for that we are headed back to the Odd, where Karis Mapp is ahead of another Kitchener Rangers game. And Karis, tonight is one of the many opportunities for fans to have a chance to win big with an annual jackpot.
That's absolutely right, Krista. Actually, on Wednesday, the Rangers Reach launched their annual 50-50 mega jackpot, and that's why I'm joined now by Executive Director of Rangers Reach, Craig Campbell. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Karis. Happy to be here.
Amazing. So let's talk about this. What is different? Because this is the 4th annual spring edition. What's different this year round versus previous years?
Well, we just tried to figure out how we could better what we did last year. We gave away over 58,000 last year, but it only ran for 6 days and 2 games. So we looked at the schedule and said we can go for like 15, 16 days and 4 games, and maybe we can give away 100 grand. And I think we're going to get there.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. Like you just said, last year someone won $58,000. This year the aspiration's up to $100,000. Why the big jump?
I just think our fans are so engaged here. I think it's something that they can get excited about. But really, the aspiration at 100 grand for a prize means that there's the other 100 grand that's available for us to invest back in our community. And that's really what we're about, is where can we take the money that we raise and invest it back into Waterloo Region. And when I stand right here, it's ironic actually. I look across behind your cameraman and I see the Sexual Assault Support Center of Waterloo Region, who has been a major fundee of ours, and we've been supportive of them and their program. So it warms my heart that, hey, they're right here with us tonight, having received funds from Rangers Reach, and here we are. We're trying to raise more funds so we can support more organizations in our region just like them.
Really just helping everyone in the community. Everyone trying to win that $100,000, but it can't be going to everyone. What are some of the other prizes, quickly, what people can look forward to winning?
For sure. At 7 o'clock tonight, we're going to draw for a suite plus a $500 food and beverage credit to the Rangers' first playoff home game this season. So, like, in the next half hour, just under a half hour, get in on the draw and you have a chance to win that. We're going to give away $3,000 cash in the 3rd period. And then from here on out, it's a draw a day until March 13th. We've got tons of NHL autographed jerseys, culminating with Sidney Crosby on the 12th or on the 13th at 5. So we've got lots of stuff that'll interest people. Cash every game day. It's going to be a great event.
Amazing. And you can see the fans coming in now. They're going to buy their tickets, but let's talk a little bit about what the conditions were like on their way in. Looking now at our future cast, as you can see, right now, the clouds are moving through. They're coming through, and there's going to be a little bit of precipitation overnight, as you can see around 3 a.m. We're getting hit with a bit of a storm. That's in the form of rain. Tomorrow, heading into Sunday, a little bit more precipitation, active weather in the form of flurries. But the nice thing is it's just continuing to move through the region. Nothing is going to be staying. Looking at those temperatures, currently 4 degrees. Earlier, we did hit that 5-degree mark, which is always nice to see. So it's coming through. The temperatures are getting warmer. Overnight tonight is even also going to be warm, -2 degrees, which is significantly warmer than the usual we're normally sitting around. There could be a chance for some showers or flurries, as we saw in that future cast. And then tomorrow, not quite making it back up to that 5-degree mark, but -3, I'll take it. Sunny cloud with the flurries early in the morning. Looking at some historic data now, as we see 5 degrees was our high, the expected high, and that's 5 degrees warmer than what our normal temperature is, except back in 2000 when it was 12.9 degrees as a high. Lovely. 7:02 sunrise, 6:08 sunset. Days are getting longer. Spring is on the way. Now looking at your 7-day forecast, as we can see, I mentioned earlier, it's going to be getting chilly again. So especially this weekend in those overnight lows, -17, -12. Heading into next week, though, you're going to see it start to get warmer again, which is always nice to see at this time of year. Focusing now on Lambton, Kent, Essex, they're not getting quite as cold as we're going to see in Waterloo Region, only dipping down to -10, -9. Nothing nothing crazy there, but their positives later in the week, much warmer, up to +8. And finally, for southern Georgian Bay, very similar to what we're seeing here, -17. It's going to be chilly, getting back into the positives, +1, +2. Nothing too much higher than that right now, but we're getting there. Spring's coming, Krista, and every day, hopefully, we're getting a little bit warmer. That's the goal.
We have lots to look forward to. Spring is coming. We're counting down to the Rangers in the playoffs. We're counting down to the big jackpot. Lots to look forward to for hockey fans and for anyone that steps outside. Thanks, Karis. Prime Minister Mark Carney is now in India on a major trade mission, but pressure continues to mount on the government to clarify whether they believe India is still carrying out foreign interference in Canada. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more from Mumbai.
The Prime Minister is now here in Mumbai trying to pitch Canada as a stable and reliable trading partner for India. While many in Canada's Sikh community don't feel India is a reliable partner for them, half a dozen organizations came together to voice their opposition to a Canadian government official's comments suggesting India is no longer involved in violence on Canadian soil. The RCMP and former Prime Minister previously linked the Indian government to the murder of a Canadian Sikh activist, while a CSIS report labeled India a main perpetrator of foreign interference and espionage.
To tell communities who are continuing to live these realities that this connection somehow has magically disappeared is not reassuring. It is dishonest, it is insulting, and it is gaslighting at its highest level.
While neither CSIS nor the RCMP would respond head-on to the new comments from a government official, not everyone in government agrees. At least one Liberal is denouncing the comments.
I strongly condemn these remarks made by the government official because the claim is very disconnected from the reality the community is facing on the ground, and also it contradicts with the assessments of Canada National Security and Law Enforcement Agency, including NSIA, the RCMP, and the CSIS.
We have not heard from Prime Minister Mark Carney about this issue since landing in India Friday afternoon, local time. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Mumbai.
Making a more sustainable swap simpler. Still to come on CTV News, more places now offering reusable takeout containers from a Guelph company, where you will find their product.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Canada's economy shrunk unexpectedly in the fourth quarter of 2025. It ended a volatile year of trading in the red. Statistics Canada says the main reason was that manufacturers chose to use goods they had stockpiled. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
At Ottawa's Ideal Roofing, 2025 was a year of constant change and unpredictability.
We've lost some of our American customers because of tariffs, like about a 5% drop. And in Canada, we find there's a lot of uncertainties from our customers and from our suppliers.
The family-owned business says clients are spending more cautiously, and that's changed how and what they buy. Tariffs, for example, have erased their U.S. market for raw sheet metal and coils, which means they're sitting on extra inventory.
We need these tariffs removed. I think that's going to create back the certainty that we need. That's going to remove all these uncertainty. People are not going to be as fearful of their jobs and what's going to happen.
To compensate for all that instability, Statistics Canada says many manufacturers are dipping into their stockpiles instead of buying or making new products, and that's contributing to lower economic growth. In the fourth quarter, GDP contracted by 0.6% compared to a 2.4% jump the quarter before. The drop bringing the country's overall growth in 2025 to just 1.7%, the slowest annual pace of growth since 2020.
It does appear that ongoing uncertainty about trade policies continuing to weigh on business investment, and that's what's keeping the economy down towards the end of the year.
Economists say there are positive signs in today's data. Household spending and total capital investment, including by the government, are up.
On the metrics that currency traders look at, that global investors look at, the Canadian economy is holding up pretty well.
Throughout the first quarter of 2026, most economists predict GDP will be flat. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Takeout containers that go back to a purchase point instead of into the trash. A Guelph-based company that's trying to make a simple, more sustainable choice easy has expanded to numerous new locations, including a grocery chain with stores across Ontario.
Putting together lunch at the Guelph Farm Boy Salad Bar, these blue containers caught Erica Vanderen's eye.
I just kind of like the shape and size of that one, and also that it's reusable.
The reusable containers are from the Guelph-based company Friendlier, and they're now available at 49 Farm Boy grocery stores across Ontario.
Our goal is to make reuse simple for every application, and so working to really build a solution that fits into people's everyday lives.
The concept is similar to a bottle return system. Customers taking their food in one of the containers pay a small deposit, typically 50 cents, which they get back after scanning the QR code on the back of the container and leaving it at a drop-off point, like this bin near the Farm Boy cashiers.
They're durable, they are made locally, and they're all tracked individually, so we know where they've gone and when they've come back.
Once returned, the containers go to a local sanitation site where they're washed and ready to be sent back out again and reused, cutting down on waste.
A lot of what is labeled as recyclable and compostable we know isn't actually making it where we hope it might be. Recycling rates in Canada for plastic are around 9%, and we don't have a lot of the infrastructure we need to actually compost a lot of the items that are labeled as compostable.
The containers are popping up in other places too, in several parts of Canada and even south of the border in California.
We work with a number of university and colleges across Canada, corporate office buildings, event venues, K-12 schools. One of our big announcements recently was we're launching with the provincial school board in Nova Scotia school lunch program.
And Friendlier is approaching a milestone, nearly 5 million reused containers, diverting an estimated 800,000 kilograms of greenhouse gas emissions compared to a single-use package. But Friendlier's CEO says they're just getting started.
This is really just scratching the surface for us. We want to bring reuse everywhere that we see disposables and really transform the supply chain.
All while giving customers something they want.
I think we need to be more environmentally conscious, especially about single-use plastics. It's something that's kind of going crazy and not so good for the planet. So if there's an opportunity for something reusable, I think it's good.
Time now to update our top stories, and CTV's Ashley Bacon joins us tonight in studio. And Ashley, we're going to start with the latest on the water capacity crisis that is facing the region.
That's right, Krista. Regional Councillor Doug Craig is calling for an investigation into the region's water capacity crisis. He says it's time for a third-party review of decision-making that led to the region pushing development recommendations in Kitchener and Waterloo. He plans on bringing that motion forward at a meeting on March 10th. A Fergus girl is hearing everyday sounds for the first time after becoming the first in North America to receive a new smart hearing device. It's the first cochlear implant of its kind because it allows for updates like a smartphone to access new features. Sick Kids Hospital did the groundbreaking procedure, which has changed the girl's life forever.
And turning to our website online, our digital news team has a story about a man who has 15 million reasons to be happy today.
Gosh, wouldn't it be nice, Krista? That's right. He is a 62-year-old from St. George who works in the grocery industry. He took home the jaw-dropping jackpot. For more information on this story, you can scan the QR code in the bottom left of your screen to get the story on your CTV News app or to download the app right now. You can also visit our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Krista, I think we're just going to have to keep trying here.
I guess so, but not a bad start to the weekend for this man from St. George.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
An iconic structure in the city of Waterloo has been demolished. The band shell at Waterloo Park has stood since 1967. It was a place where festivals and concerts were held. This is what it looked like before it was taken down. The city says events in that area of the park haven't been making use of the band shell as it no longer meets the electrical and infrastructure needs of modern performances, and so it has come down. The city is working on updating the Waterloo Park plan, but we're told it is unlikely there will be a replacement band shell going up in the same spot. Once a rival, now a Ranger.
Here's O'Reilly shooting, he scores!
Still to come on CTV News, we hear from one of the newer members of the team sitting down with Sam O'Reilly in this week's Beyond the Bench. Stay with us. Kitchener Rangers forward Sam O'Reilly was recently traded to the club from the London Knights. The 3-year veteran in this league was drafted into the NHL in 2024 and played for Canada in the most recent World Junior Tournament. He tells us about those experiences in this week's edition of Beyond the Bench.
So now the Rangers pick their way to line. Here's O'Reilly shooting, he scores! Sam O'Reilly wins it.
Sam O'Reilly, forward. It's my 3rd year playing the OHL.
Now looking for Andonoff. Andonoff strikes it. Here for O'Reilly.
Really good fans here. It's a good spot. Good place to be. I think just winning's an addicting feeling, and won before, and still feel the same way about it. Want to win again.
Carl shoots, bouncy puck in front. O'Reilly scores! Sam O'Reilly continues the onslaught. It's 4-0.
It was a really good experience for me, and yeah, it was an honor, and took a lot of pride in it.
The Edmonton Oilers are proud to select from the London Knights of the Ontario Hockey League, Sam O'Reilly.
It's a first step into a career. To see it pan out like that, it's cool. Obviously, it's a lot of hard work that goes into it.
Player who has brought a lot of excitement to an already exciting Rangers team. Well, we have more news ahead, but first, here's Karis at the Odd.
Well, O'Reilly and the Rangers just finished warming up for the game as the temperatures outside continue to cool down. I'll have more of what conditions will be like first thing tomorrow morning after the break, coming up on on Wake Up Weather. Stick around on CTV for E-Talk at 7, followed by The Big Bang Theory at 7:30. Happy's Place begins at 8, and Stumble will be bringing all the laughs starting at 8:30. Then it's Battle of the Generations before Boston Blue at 10.
Tonight, catching high cholesterol early.
Finding out the kids had it was a bit bittersweet.
Why doctors are now testing children as young as 2. What parents need to know. We'll have that story and more later on CTV National News and Watch on Crane.
Your Kitchener Rangers are celebrating International Women's Day, and CTV Kitchener has your chance to be there. Next Friday, the Rangers are highlighting the important women in the Rangers organization and community. Enter now for your chance to win at ctvkitchener.ca.
Time to head back to the Kitchener Auditorium one last time to check in on the weather, and we are joined by CTV's Karis Mapp ahead of puck drop in just a few minutes as the Kitchener Rangers take on the Brampton Steelheads tonight. And Karis, for the first time in what feels like a very long time, it was actually warmer outside than inside the arena tonight.
Absolutely, Krista. Historically, when you would come to the Odd these last few months, you know, you park your car, you kind of scuttle inside, trying to get that warmth inside the arena, which is a little bit ironic. But you could see today as they were making their way in, kind of sauntering a little bit, enjoying that last bit of sunshine that we had before sunset. The +degree weather, 5 degrees earlier today, now down to 4, but no complaints. And people came in ready to spend some money. As I said earlier, I'm here for the 50-50 Rangers Reach Mega Jackpot. So people are coming in. They're starting to buy their tickets. There is going to be a draw tonight at 7 and 9, so people are getting in here, getting those tickets last minute, and they're getting ready to go home and hopefully win at the next game if they don't win tonight. Looking ahead to what they might wake up to tomorrow morning, let's take a look at our wake up weather. As you can see, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., partly cloudy and only 1 degree. By 6 a.m. rather, 8 a.m., 1 degree. That's a little bit backwards, I'm pretty sure. It's meant to say -1 for 6, +1, and then by 10 a.m. -2. So somehow we're getting a little bit cooler, actually. The high tomorrow is going to be -3, so you can see that kind of making its way, getting a little bit cooler as the day goes on. Not like that 5 that we felt today, but you can't really complain. Like you said, crazy when it's a little bit warmer outside than in. I definitely took my time coming in. A lot of people not in their seats just yet, probably enjoying that warm weather outside before they come in and feel those little bit more frigid temperatures inside the arena. Krista.
CTV's Karis Mapp reporting for us live tonight at the Kitchener Auditorium. Thanks, Karis. We will look forward to whenever we see those temperatures above the freezing mark again. Well, that is our time tonight. Thank you for watching. I'll be back at 11:30 with your next local news. Have a good evening.